Hey there, Nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we're back with another edition of Cheap Shots, our series dedicated to showing you how to save money on the wargaming hobby. And on today's episode, we'll discuss how to use the new Night Lord's Nemesis Claw Kill Team box set in your games of Necromunda. We'll review the box set's contents, discuss the potential narrative of how these fighters are in the Necromunda setting, discuss the gang's playstyle, provide a 2,000 credit starting roster for your first campaign, and suggest how this game could develop over the course of that campaign, and of course give our overall conclusion on this box set. Now, because video will be a little bit more of a deeper dive, I will put timestamps in the description box down below so that we can click to navigate to the part of the video that interests you the most. So first of all, let's talk about why I'm talking about Kill Team box sets. Traditionally, whenever I do a cheap shot video, I usually do a painting tutorial showing you how you can use cheaper alternatives to some of the name brand paints to save you money on the miniatures wargaming hobby. And the reason why I do that is because aside from miniatures, the second most expensive thing that most players purchase are paints, and sometimes they're spending more money on the paints than they actually do on the miniatures themselves. So what I'm doing in this video is showing you how I could use box sets from Kill Team and use them in the Necromunda campaign setting, so that way you can use the same set of miniatures for multiple games, so that way you can have more fun with the miniatures as well. After all, saving as much money as possible in the miniatures wargaming hobby is all what I'm all about, and at the same time kind of helping you out, branch out, and get into new games as well. And as always, because we're going to be using two different box sets from a different gaming system, please be comfortable with proxies, because you're going to have to do that for this game setting. Now let's talk about the box set real quick. So this is the picture that was provided at the, I believe this is the World Championships preview, and this one, of course, we're kind of have to speculate for a little bit because we're not really sure what's inside the box sets, but from this picture right here, we can basically make some educated guesses. First off, we're going to get 10 Night Lord Legionaries from Warhammer 40,000, so that's a dead certain as well. We can see that some of these guys are packing plasma guns and plasma pistols, missile launchers and heavy bolters, maybe a flamer or a melt if you want to as well. We also know these guys are carrying bolt guns and bolt pistols and chain swords, and these could also be used for things like chain claves, paired weapons, power swords, plasma pistols, etc. So what we're going to do is when we create this roster, we're going to use the constants that I'm seeing in this photo in order to create that roster for you guys to use in your campaigns. So let's talk about the narrative background of this gang real quick. Now, more often than not, I like to use the old saying that every miniature is a Necromunda miniature. So if your opponent wants to complain about it, just be like, hey man, it's Necromunda. I can use whatever I want. Alright, but if your opponent is a stickler, give them as the background for this narrative. These guys are going to be House Goliath outcasts who have been tainted with insanity and with madness. And because of that named madness, they have been outcast from House Goliath, and because they're out on their own in the wilds with no help at all, they turn to the Dark Prince of the Chaos Powers to feed their deviant appetites. And that what's created the current Nemesis Claw gang that we're now seeing in this campaign setting. So if you're looking for a way to do a narrative for this gang, this would be the one I would suggest for you, or some variation of it. Now, based on what I'm seeing from that photo of the Night Lord's Kill Team box set, this roster that I made is going to be very, very aggressive. We do have a good mix of mid-range shooting and close combat, so there's a lot of good aggression involved in it as well. It's also very survivable, especially against gas as well as toxin attack weapons, which is going to be usually the bane of high toughness type gangs. And at the same time, we have some really powerful high strength weapons that we're also using in combination with the cunning skill tree in order to maximize the amount of damage you can do to your opponents as well. So now that we're done talking about the playstyle, let's talk about the starting roster. Alright, so this is the Night Lord's Nemesis Claw starting roster for Necromunda and the Amaranthine Succession 2024, and this roster, of course, is going to be starting off at 2,000 credits. This list is going to be a Chaos Corrupted House Goliath Outcast gang that's going to be dedicated to the Dark Prince, and that's going to give you a couple of abilities. First of all, once per round during the activation phase, you can activate 2 fighters who are ready. They can be picked and group activated one after the other, just like you would normally do for group activation. At the same time, if your gang gets any Chaos Spawn in the future, you'll be able to roll 2d6 and determine the movement of that Chaos Spawn by choosing the highest die that was rolled. And at the same time, you also get to add +2 inches to your gang leader's movement characteristic, which is always kind of fun. So first of all, let's talk about the Hunt Leader as well as Champion number 1. So the Hunt Leader is down below, the fighter with the plasma pistol there. That guy's going to be your Hunt Leader. You're going to use the Hunt Leader characteristic from the Book of Peril, and this guy's going to cost you 305 credits. This fighter's got the weird archetype. He's also got to use characteristic number 2 from the Hunt Leader characteristic for the Venator gangs in the Book of Peril. Now this guy's going to be a Nat-born Goliath. So you get +2 to his intelligence, +2 to his will, as well as -1 to his cool. He's also going to have physical perfection as well as the prime special Specimen, you're going to add +1 to his strength for that, as well as Tyrant's Own, add +1 to his Ballistic skill, as well as +1 to his initiative. That's going to give him a movement characteristic of 5 inches, 3+ weapon skill, 3+ ballistic skill, 4 strength and toughness, 2 wounds, 4 initiative, 2 attack, 6 leadership, 6 cool, 3 willpower, as well as 3 intelligence. Now for his weapons, you equip this guy with an armored undersuit and furnace plate for that 4-up armor save, as well as a combat pistol, which is a stub gun combined with a plasma pistol with dum-dum rounds. You're going to give him a power sword for close combat, a respirator to survive gas and toxin attacks, as well as the telepathy discipline. This is going to give him the ability Fearful Aura, as well as Unbreakable Will, so that way he can transfer his willpower to the rest of the gang, as well as the rest of their cool as well. The second fighter is Champion number 1. That's the guy that's pictured in the upper right hand corner. That's going to cost you 215 credits. That fighter's going to be a Mastermind archetype as well, with the Vatborn ability, as well as Thermal Hardening for +1 toughness. He's going to have an armor undersuit with a furnace plate, as well as packing assault grenade launchers, which is going to have twin rounds, grad grenades, as well as crack grenades. He's also packing a stub gun, as well as a respirator, and he has an Overwatch skill to interrupt enemy activations. Up next, we're going to talk about Outcast Champion number 2 as well as Outcast Champion number 3. Now, Outcast Champion number 2 is going to be the guy in the bottom right-hand corner. He's going to cost you 220 credits. He's got the Gunslinger archetype with a Vatborn as well as Thermal Hardening. He's going to have an armored undersuit and furnace plate as well as a plasma gun for his primary weapon with a stub gun for a backup weapon. He's going to have a respirator as well as a Gunslinger archetype with fast shots so that we can shoot his plasma gun twice. Outcast Champion number 3, which is the guy in the upper left-hand corner, that fighter is going to have an armored undersuit. Oh, sorry, so we're going to have a Mastermind archetype, I do apologize, with a Vatborn with Thermal Hardening. He's going to have an armored undersuit as well as furnace plate. He's going to have a Mastercrafted Renderizer serrated axe as well as a stub gun with dum-dum rounds. He's also going to pack a respirator as well as a stub slick stash so that way he gets that boost to his movement and his fighting characteristics. And it's also got the infiltrate skill so that way he can sneak up on enemies on deployment. Next, we're going to talk about Outcast Champion number 4. That's going to be the fighter in the bottom left-hand corner, as well as Hunter number 1 was the guy in the upper right-hand corner. Now, for your Champion number 4, it's going to cost you 200 credits. He's going to have the Mastermind archetype, as well as the Vatborn with Thermal Hardening. He's also going to have armored undersuit, as well as a furnace plate. He's going to be packing paired Master-crafted pulverizers, represented by those claws he's carrying, as well as a stub gun with dum-dum rounds for a shooting attack. He's also going to have a respirator, as well as a stim slug stash, as well as an infiltrate skill. Now, the Outcast Hive skill in the upper right-hand corner, that guy's going to cost you 150 credits. He's got Vatborn with Thermal Hardening, an armor undersuit, furnace plates, as well as a bolt gun with a stub gun and dum-dum rounds, as well as respirator. And for Hunter number 2 and 3, Hunter number 2 is going to cost you 150 credits. This guy's got Vatborn with Thermal Hardening, +1 toughness, armor undersuit, furnace plates, bolt gun, as well as a stub gun with dum-dum rounds and a respirator. And Outcast Hive skill number 3 is going to cost you 185 credits. This fighter's going to have Vatborn as well as Thermal Hardening, armor undersuit with furnace plate, as well as a bolt pistol, a chain sword, frag grenades, as well as a respirator. And lastly, we have Hunter number 4 and Hunter number 5. Hunter number 4 is going to cost 185 credits with Vatborn, as well as Thermal Hardening with a +1 to their toughness. They have an armor undersuit as well as a furnace plate with bolt pistol, chainsword, frag grenades, as well as respirator. And finally, Outcast Hive skill number 5 is going to cost 180 credits. This fight's got Vatborn as well as Thermal Hardening, +1 toughness, armor undersuit, furnace plate, as well as a bolt pistol with a brute cleaver, and frag grenades and a respirator. Now, as the campaign develops, of course, purchase photo goggles so that way your entire gang can see in all visibility and conditions. And if you want to, you could also purchase them Gutter Forged cloaks, and that could be represented by the skins that they're wearing on their power armor. Not to mention, Gutter Forged cloaks are also a good piece of equipment, giving you +1 to your armor save and a 5 aboard save on environmental effects, which is pretty good as well. You could also upgrade their armor from furnace plate to mesh armor if you want to, but I would suggest using the furnace plate because it kind of resembles why their armor is so clunky looking as well. Now, if you decide to actually go out to the ash waste, you can actually just use Waster's dirt bikes for all your fighters. And the reason why you could do that is because you can see that the power packs that they're using on their back are kind of like jump packs, kind of. And that's the reason why they can kind of rock it around the battlefield as well. So there you guys have it. This is our conclusion about how you can use multiple miniatures for your multiple games with the same box of miniatures as well. And the reason why we're using that is because, like I said before, every miniature is a Necromunda miniature. That campaign setting is absolutely insane, and there's a lot of crazy things going on. So you could definitely use almost any kind of miniature you want in order to use it for your games of Necromunda as well. Plus, the Night Lords just look absolutely beautiful. They're beautiful miniatures full of character, and who wouldn't want to use those guys in multiple games if they're able to? Now, as always, of course, if you have a recommendation for another box of miniatures and how we could potentially use it in the game of Necromunda, please put that in the comment box down below, and I'll go ahead and start working on those videos. So that's going to do it for those of you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as Vlogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this week, guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.